This after a bomb threat. And that passenger is now sharing what the experience was like. Here's Tim Pham from our sister station, KREM 2 News.
5:30 tonight, according to Spokane police. Meanwhile, Spokane police did arrive earlier than that with a bomb squad due to the fact that it was called here for a bomb threat.
It was a routine flight until it wasn't. Passengers boarded, unaware that within minutes, their journey would turn into a life-or-death struggle at 36,000 feet. What happened in the skies over Alaska that forced President Trump to take unprecedented action, shutting down an airport? This is the harrowing story of one of the most dangerous aviation incidents in history. Ted Stevens' Anchorage International Airport bustled with early morning travelers sipping coffee and checking departure screens. At Gate 37, a Boeing 737 sat ready for takeoff, its engines humming in the crisp Alaskan air. It was a perfect day for flying, clear skies, smooth conditions. But as history has shown, even the best conditions can be deceiving. What started as a routine flight would soon turn into an emergency that would push aviation safety protocols to the limit. As the aircraft ascended, the flight crew went through their standard procedures, monitoring instruments and ensuring a smooth climb. Everything seemed normal, but 23 minutes into the flight, a faint vibration started on the right side of the aircraft. Subtle yet distinct. At first, it was nothing more than an unusual hum, easily mistaken for minor turbulence. But within minutes, it became a rhythmic mechanical pulse, something no experienced pilot could ignore. Inside the cockpit, early readings showed minor fluctuations in the right engine's performance. It wasn't enough to trigger alarms, but it was enough to raise concern. Then, the pressure ratio readings began shifting, small yet abnormal. A passenger seated near the wing noticed something fall off, but before anyone could process it, the entire plane trembled. At 30,000 feet, the situation escalated. The right engine's cowling, a protective metal covering, began to tear away, exposing internal components to the extreme minus 55 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures. The aircraft rattled violently as the damaged engine struggled to maintain thrust. Despite the chaos, the plane's automated systems didn't register a full failure. This was the gray area of aviation emergencies, serious but without clear alarms to dictate an immediate response. Then came the deafening boom. The entire aircraft shook as metal fatigue caused parts of the engine to warp. The pilots, seasoned professionals, knew this was no ordinary malfunction. The fuel system showed erratic readings, and wind resistance against the exposed engine disrupted airflow, making it nearly impossible to maintain stable flight. Every second counted as the plane reached its cruising altitude of 36,000 feet. The flight crew had a choice: push forward or turn back. The decision was clear. Anchorage was the only safe option. They initiated an emergency descent, carefully balancing speed, altitude, and fuel management. Ground control was alerted, and air traffic controllers scrambled to clear a path. At 15,000 feet, the air grew thicker, offering more control but adding stress to the failing engine. The howling wind from the torn cowling filled the cabin. Passengers, now aware of the crisis, clutched their seats. Some prayed, others braced for impact. The airport's emergency response center buzzed with tense chatter as air traffic controllers relayed real-time updates on the aircraft's condition. The entire airport had come to a standstill. Every available resource was now focused on ensuring this plane made it to the ground safely. The pilots, battling against asymmetric thrust and unpredictable turbulence, lined up their approach. The aircraft's right engine, still compromised, made maintaining a straight descent nearly impossible. The left engine provided most of the thrust, forcing the pilots to constantly adjust the rudder to keep the aircraft stable. Each control input required precision, too much correction, and they could send the aircraft into a dangerous yaw. Too little, and they risked losing control altogether. Inside the cockpit, The pilots' hands were steady, but their minds raced through every possible scenario. The flight management system struggled to compensate for the shifting aerodynamics, and they had to rely on their training, instincts, and sheer determination. The runway was slick with ice, and visibility was poor, but there was no turning back. A fierce Alaskan snowstorm had rolled in, reducing visibility to near zero. The approach lights flickered like ghostly beacons through the whiteout conditions, offering only a brief glimpse of their rapidly approaching landing zone. The runway itself was treacherous, covered in a thin layer of ice, leaving little margin for error. If they landed too fast, they risked skidding off into the snowbanks. Too slow, and the aircraft might stall before even reaching the ground. As they descended through the final 2,000 feet, the aircraft shuddered violently. Crosswinds swept across the tarmac, threatening to push them off course. The pilots had to fight every instinct to overcorrect. Small, calculated movements were their only hope of keeping the aircraft aligned with the runway. Meanwhile, in the cabin, passengers clutched their armrests, some whispering prayers, others holding hands in silent desperation. The flight attendants, though maintaining a professional calm, mentally prepared for an emergency evacuation. Every move had to be perfect. The moment of truth arrived. The landing gear deployed with a jolt. The aircraft's speed had to be just right to avoid hydroplaning on the icy surface. At 200 feet, the pilots could barely make out the runway markings. At 100 feet, the alarms in the cockpit continued to blare, reminding them of the failing engine's instability. At 50 feet, the aircraft bucked against the wind, but the pilots held firm. Then, contact! The wheels hit the ice-covered runway, skidding for an instant before finding traction. The thrust reverses engaged. The aircraft roared as it slowed, and within moments, it came to a full stop. The radio crackled with the voice of air traffic control. "Welcome back." As the wheels touched down, the aircraft skidded slightly but held steady. The flight had lasted just 47 minutes, but for those on board, it felt like a lifetime. News of the near disaster spread rapidly. President Trump, upon being briefed, made an unprecedented call, ordering the temporary shutdown of Anchorage International Airport to assess the situation and prevent further risk. "Thank God they turned back," he said during an emergency press briefing, praising the crew's heroic actions. This incident became a case study in aviation safety, proving that even in the age of advanced technology, human instinct and experience remain the last line of defense. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of aviation's most terrifying moments, be sure to subscribe to Deep Astronomy for more gripping stories of history, mystery, and survival. Thanks for watching. What if I told you that America's enemies have attempted to take down Marine One over 47 times in the last decade, yet failed every single time? Rising gracefully from the White House lawn, the $80 million Marine One isn't just a helicopter, it's a flying fortress equipped with missile jammers, decoys, and bulletproof windows. It can withstand attacks and even coordinate nuclear responses mid-flight. But with advanced threats like electromagnetic pulses looming and whispers of its ghost mode radar invisibility, what secrets does this chopper hold? Join us as we uncover the fascinating evolution of Marine One and its role in safeguarding the world's most powerful leader. Marine One's story begins with the dawn of the atomic age. In 1946, Marine General Roy Geiger observed the devastating potential of nuclear weapons during tests at Bikini Atoll. Realizing the vulnerability of traditional beach landings, he spearheaded the creation of Marine Helicopter Squadron 1, HMX-1, in December 1947. Starting with primitive helicopters like the Sikorsky HO-3S-1 and the quirky Piscataway Flying Banana, the squadron quickly proved the viability of helicopter transport. In 1950, during the Korean War, HMX-1 helicopters faced their first combat tests, revolutionizing battlefield mobility by evacuating the wounded and supporting troop movements. This success set the stage for their most prestigious mission yet, presidential transport. The historic moment came in 1957 when President Dwight D. Eisenhower urgently needed to return to Washington amidst the Little Rock crisis. Marine One completed the first-ever presidential helicopter mission, a 6-minute flight that would forever change how U.S. presidents traveled. Innovations like the iconic white top paint scheme and the South Lawn circular landing target emerged during this period, cementing Marine One's identity. Over the decades, Marine One evolved through several generations of aircraft, from the VH-34 Choctaw to the VH-3D Sea King and VH-60N White Hawk. Each iteration brought enhanced comfort, security, and technology. By 1976, the Marines took sole responsibility for presidential helicopter transport, marking a new chapter in its legacy. Today's Marine One fleet is unmatched in its capabilities, featuring advanced defensive systems, secure communication networks, and Oval Office-level functionality. These helicopters ensure the president remains connected and protected at all times. However, modernization hasn't been without challenges. The failed VH-71 Kestrel program highlighted the complexities of upgrading this prestigious fleet. Lessons learned from this $13 billion setback led to the development of the VH-92A Patriot, a state-of-the-art helicopter that debuted in 2024. The VH-92A represents a significant advancement in modern aviation, particularly for the critical role of transporting the President of the United States. As a replacement for the aging fleet of VH-3D and VH-60N helicopters currently serving as Marine One, the VH-92A is designed to address evolving challenges in a rapidly changing and increasingly hazardous global environment. One of the standout features of the VH-92A is its larger cabin. This expanded interior provides increased space for passengers and equipment, ensuring that the President, staff, and accompanying personnel have a comfortable and functional environment during transit. The larger cabin not only improves comfort but also enhances operational flexibility, allowing for the accommodation of additional communication systems, medical equipment, or other mission-critical tools. In high-stakes situations, such as responding to national emergencies or coordinating with global leaders, the cabin's design ensures the President can work seamlessly while in the air. Another key innovation of the VH-92A is its modular design. Unlike older helicopter models, which were limited in their ability to adapt to new technologies, the VH-92A is built with future upgrades in mind. This modularity allows for the integration of cutting-edge systems and equipment as they become available, ensuring the aircraft remains at the forefront of aviation technology for decades to come. The VH-92A has also undergone rigorous testing to withstand some of the most extreme environmental and operational threats. This includes its ability to perform under harsh conditions, such as sandstorms, which can severely impact engine performance and visibility, as well as electromagnetic pulses, EMPs, which can disrupt or disable critical onboard systems. The helicopter's resilience against EMPs is particularly noteworthy, as such threats could arise from nuclear detonations or cyber warfare scenarios. Additionally, the VH-92A is engineered to endure lightning strikes, ensuring the aircraft's reliability and safety even in severe weather conditions. These features underscore the comprehensive approach taken in designing the VH-92A, which prioritizes the protection of both the President and the aircraft's operational integrity. By 2025, the VH-92A is expected to fully replace the current fleet, marking the end of an era for the aging VH-3D and VH-60N helicopters. These older models, while reliable in their time, have become increasingly difficult to maintain and modernize in the face of today's sophisticated threats and operational demands. The transition to the VH-92A will ensure that Marine One remains a symbol of technological excellence and a robust platform for presidential transport. This upgrade is not just about replacing old aircraft. It represents a commitment to maintaining the highest standards of safety, security, and capability in a world where the demands on the Commander-in-Chief are greater than ever. The VH-92A is more than just a helicopter. It is a testament to the United States' dedication to innovation and preparedness. It reflects the need to anticipate and address an increasingly dangerous world, where challenges range from cyber threats to physical attacks and extreme environmental conditions. With its advanced design, modular adaptability, and unparalleled resilience, the VH-92A sets a new benchmark for what a presidential transport aircraft should be. As the VH-92A takes to the skies, it ensures that Marine One will not only meet but exceed the demands of the future, safeguarding the nation's leadership at every turn. Marine One is more than a helicopter. It's a symbol of resilience, innovation, and the unyielding dedication of the United States Marines. As new threats emerge, this iconic aircraft remains a beacon of security for the Commander-in-Chief. But as technology and warfare evolve, one question lingers. How will Marine One adapt to challenges we can't yet imagine? Let us know your thoughts, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we uncover more incredible stories of innovation and legacy.